I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money. The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating, empowering, interactive conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Gathering of the Griots with Asada. Wednesdays, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Global Talks with Zana. Second Saturday, Walk in Your Divine Authority with Mama Joy. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. Fourth Saturday, be a judge on the virtual Teens, Tweens, and Tots Talent Contest. And fifth Saturday, join us on location as we conversate at the Elevate Cafe, owner Jackie Brooks. Sundays, join us 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Go to thefemalesolution.com to join us on our video or audio live streaming platforms. Listen at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in on the Blog Talk Radio Network 515-605-9325 or call in and comment on the On-Air Radio Network 727-731-5192. We want to hear from you. Yes, we do want to hear from you, and we want you to hear from our guest today. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and you are watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And we know that this is a time where we as a nation are anticipating some changes as a result of a new administration. There are some intense feelings on all sides. There are intense feelings because there are those who supported the new president, the 47th president, who was the 45th president, Donald J. Trump. And there are those who were adamantly against him and are now fearful that he is in office, sworn in on Monday, and highly celebrated for his already different kinds of executive orders issued the day he became president again. So how should we respond? Well, one of our reporters, journalists, publisher Gary Hunter, who has been a White House correspondent for the past several presidents, has been a passenger in Air Force One along with President Barack Obama, has been across this nation capturing the history of our times and his publication, The Shot News. Well, he was present at the inauguration and had a chance to get a feel of the atmosphere and the vibration and the opinions of people who were enthusiastically welcoming a new administration headed by President Donald J. Trump. What is the mood of the nation? Well, we're going to take a quick break and come right back and bring on Gary Hunter and share some of his visual images as well as some interviews. And you'll be surprised at the different attitudes. We literally are divided, one side against the other. Some that are saying, yay, we got a great new president. We're going to see this country become great again. And we've got others saying, oh my God, this is a disaster. I'm going to move away and relocate and repatriate somewhere else. I can't be in this place with him as a leader. You've got those two extremes. Why? And what do you believe is the best response now that we, in fact, do have a new president? Well, we'll be right back. And then we're going to bring on our dear brother, Gary Hunter, with some history about America. Where do we go from here? We'll be right back. So stay with us.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
And we are back, and we're going to bring in our guest. And of course, we'll be joined with our co-host, Kareem Hamid, in just one moment. And we want to give you an opportunity to call in because we do want to hear from you. And this is truly a chance to plan, because we do have some issues that are going to force us to make different kinds of decisions. But what was the mood of those who attended the inauguration on the same day that it just happened to be the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday? Well, let us welcome to our center stage the publisher of The Shot News, White House correspondent, national journalist, and history maker, one who with The Shot News captures those images that will mark the significant events of our time. Publisher Gary Hunter.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Blessings and peace to you.
Yes, blessings and peace to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you for giving us your insight about a very significant event that has so many people with so many emotions. So first of all, of course, I've let our audience know your wide range of experience, political experience, reporting experience, and the fact that you have been around for several presidents. But what would you say was the mood as you saw the crowds of people there at the inauguration, which was held inside, interestingly enough? But of course, it was cold outside, so I'm sure people didn't mind that. But what was the overall mood that you sensed? Was there hope? Was there anxiety? What was the overall feeling that you got as you walked among the crowds of course, Donald J. Trump supporters? What did you feel?
Well, you got to realize the element that you're in. It's no different when you go to a Democratic rally. You got the lovers, the haters. I think when you go to a Republican event, you got all supporters, and the haters are not showing up. Either they just don't like you and don't show up, or either they got other things to do and it's more important than trying to hate. The difference is when you're at a Democrat event, the haters will show up to show their disgrace, to show their ignorance, to show their foolishness, or to show their disappointment. And what I found on this past weekend was the same likewise, because when you went to the balls and the events leading up to the inauguration, there was Democrat leaders, Republican leaders. It was all about a celebration of what it is. It was not about the celebration of who are in it. It was about what it is. And although I was contemplating on not going because of the King celebration going on in Atlanta, and I've been invited by Dr. Bernice King to come to the ball the week before. But as we all know, for 2 weeks now, we've been dealing with winter storms across the South. And so Atlanta was shut down. And the beautiful ball, which we need to all be at next year, which is an awesome now celebration of the King celebration that they've added for the last 3 years, an award ceremony with some of your A-lister entertainers, A-lister musicians, and the whole 9 yards, but they postponed it a week. And I decided I am not going to let the hate that somebody tell me, and I don't want to say they tell me, but everybody is, don't go, don't go, don't go. No, it's still the presidency. If I learned nothing else traveling the 12, 14 years with President Obama, is I don't want to be like them. I showed up at rallies across this country with President Obama and events that he was speaking at, with white people all outside. It looked like they found everybody that was 400 and 600 pounds and put them in sheets and had big old nasty pictures of President Obama or Mrs. Obama depicted as apes, depicted as monkeys, depicted as whatever they could make up. I refuse to be in that box. Then I watched this. Before we even get to this inauguration, I watched the white, not the Democrat, not the Republican. I watched the white Congressional and Senate do everything they can to not support the black president. It wasn't about Democrat. It was that he was a black man. And I watched white, Democrat, and Republicans do all kind of ignorant stuff on the Hill against President Obama. So when it comes to President Trump, I'm going to call him. I'm not disrespecting the presidency. I'm going to call him President Trump. I'm going to respect the office. If he chooses to disrespect the office, which he has, which he did the other day, at the rally on Sunday, it was almost like a hate rally because he spoke about what he didn't like instead of merging and unifying the country. So you don't win me, Democratic Party, Republican Party. You do not win me teaching me any form of hate. The Democratic Party spent 9 months on hate. They did not give us a vision for the future. They gave us pain and the history of the pain of our past. I still stand here as a black media who was not properly paid. And I watched the Democratic Party, Google it, spend $15.9 billion and gave the black press less than 30 million. That is less than 1%. You don't respect the black vote. And let me put it to you this way. White folk got paid not to vote. Listen to me good. If you spent 90% of your money with white companies and white press and white consultants, you paid them not to support you. Yet the blacks who came out 80% for you, you refuse to pay. So when I show up at the Republican inauguration, I'm puzzled at the blacks who feel that they're really getting something, when technically black or white ain't getting nothing. It's the rich, it's the hateful, it's the evil, it's the mean, it's the nasty that can celebrate, because that's what we're seeing. Mean, hateful, nasty, and ugly. But what's disturbing is these young black men and these young black women, wasn't but a few. Because if you look at the pictures, if you look at the video, that stadium was literally white with a few black specks through it. So even they did not feel welcome to come. And the video you're about to play now is one of the young black men who I wish I lived near him to educate him more every day. Because not only do we need to engage these young men and educate them, because bigger than politics, if he has children, they're going to be in an illusionary world that we don't need them in. And as you play this clip, on the other side of this clip, I want to ask y'all, and I know the volume wasn't the best, but he literally said he did his research.
We're going to see if we can hear, and of course, we want you all to call in and comment. 727-731-5192. We're talking to Gary Hunter, reporter, publisher of The Shot News, present at the inauguration. And here is one young man's viewpoint.
many benefits. Not only
Oh, okay. Let me see. Can we hear him? Let me see if we've got our volume. Oh, we might have to.
I hear you about to say overall. No, but I was going to say overall.
Let me see. Make sure we're not muted.
I can hear it.
Hold on 1 second. We're going to try it again. Let's take him out, and we'll try that again. Make sure we can let our audience hear. In the meantime, one of the things that I want to.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Wait a minute. We got. Oh, I know what's taking him. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we had Siri or whoever me is taking up my audio. Okay, now let's try it again. All right. So
Modern technology.
yes. All right. So this young man, enthusiastic supporter of the new president, gives his view.
Platinum plan, which is going to have many benefits not only for the Black community but also for America.
Are you able to hear him?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, and we've got a caller on Beata. I know she's got a comment to make.
I hear you about to say overall. No, but I was just going to say overall, I feel like Donald Trump, to me, would be a better choice over just voting for Kamala Harris, because I don't feel like that she would really do anything to help the Black community grow.
Okay. So, while you right there, can I ask, do facts mean anything? Because to say that we were the lowest unemployed at the time of his administration is not true. They've proven it wasn't true. I know you from Boston, and you might be a little up there with the upper class. Y'all known to be a little richer than everybody else. And maybe you stuck up there not knowing about Chicago, not knowing about Detroit, not knowing about DC. That was not so. But the minute Joe Biden became the president, then the unemployment rate went down. And I want you as a young man to be careful with, you can support whoever you want. You have the freedom of America, even though they're trying to take your freedom away, whether you know it or not. And I don't know if you heard about 2025, but it's taking, Project 2025. They've openly said they want to take away Blacks' right to vote. If they had it their way, they would ship some of us back to Africa and also not give us the rights as citizens. Do you really want to be put back to the point where you're not considered as an American citizen? You worried about freedom for people running away from war torns or dangerous areas. We've always had that. Or let me ask you a better question. Do you know that his wife got in on that same plan? Do you know all three of his wives were foreigners?
I don't know anything about that. So.
They all were foreigners. Should we throw them out first? But one of them died. I think she's in victory.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about that. But to answer your previous question about Project 2025, Donald Trump has came out on numerous occasions and said that he has nothing to do with Project 2025. In fact, he never read any of Project 2025.
Well, he don't read, period, remember? No, he's illiterate, right? He didn't even read his daily reports. Okay. Every president in America has read daily reports, and they read those in order to know what needs to be adjusted in the plan for America, in order for us to be safe, in order for us to have jobs, in order for us to have clean water. And now watch this. While we're talking about this, do you want clean water? He took away regulations for clean water. Do you want clean air? He took away regulations for clean air. So I'm not trying to jump on you. This is Trump's week. And I'm actually kind of sort of glad that he won, because I think the Democrats took us for granted. I think they raised $15 billion, spent $15.9 billion, and Blacks are still old. But I'm not going to fool myself to say to America, anybody listening, that it's okay to go for the hatred and the disregard and the disrespect. And I want you to look at the news tonight, and if they play it back, he talks about how many more votes he got from Blacks. Then he turns right around and says, I don't want to give blacks jobs. I don't want the DIA. I don't want all this, and I don't want that. But they don't say nothing about what they call it when your father went somewhere and you come behind it. It's really nepotism, but it's something else for schools. They don't want to take away that, but they want to take away DIA. So I'm just saying, while you speak of those things, it's wonderful that you have a freedom of your mind and you have that right. You run around here with your red, make America great again. And the question is, when was America great? They beat black people every day. When was America great? They've been raping our women for years. When was America great? They sold us off and separated us from our families. And he did the same thing to the immigrants and the Mexicans 4 years ago. So when was America great? What part of America great do we want to make America great again? When we're slaves? Would you like to be a slave?
No, sir.
Hey, Gary.
Would you like to be beat? You're going to have it in, man. Would you like to be beat every day? Or would you like to have to put your head down every time you walk past a white man? I'm just curious to validating a thought-provoking young man to think past just some rhetoric. Go ahead, because I want him to be president for the 4 years.
I was, you kind of.
That was a very loaded question.
Yeah. So let's focus on the things I want to ask you right now. You were starting to tell me a story about why you decided that you turned away from the Democratic Party. You were voting Democrat. Yeah. So.
Because I feel like overall, and this is just my opinion, I feel like a lot of people in the black community are kind of brainwashed to vote Democrat. I feel like it's more of a cultural thing more than anything. And I feel like, again, this is just my opinion. I feel like the reason why a lot of people in the black community lean towards the Democratic Party is because they always tell the Democrats always tell black people what they want to hear. Like, you're oppressed, America's bad, America's racist. Then at the same time, when people of color elect these politicians into office, they don't do anything. Sure, they might, throw a little money at you guys here and there. They might build statues and stuff like that. But overall, they're just
You said build statues?
Yeah, build statues like during 2020 when, George Floyd was killed by Derek Chauvin. They built a few statues and stuff like that. And other than that,
do you know how many white statues there's all over America?
Yeah.
You've been around. Matter of fact, you're in Boston, right?
Yes, sir.
You've been around Yale University?
Yeah.
You know all them white statues?
Yeah.
Okay. Finish your point when you're saying you were a Democratic supporter and you turned when you did vote before.
So I was a Democrat at one point because, again, kind of like as I said before, that's kind of the norm. Like, if you're a black person, you're supposed to vote for the person that has a D next to the name, but.
And you have voted for someone in the past or something like that?
Well, at the time when, I was still young,
okay.
I couldn't vote until I turned 18.
Okay.
But, even when I was in high school.
You mentioned something about your friends.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Even when I was in high school, I've always wondered, why a Democrat? I've never really had anybody sit down and explain to me why I should vote Democrat. People say, oh, well, because the Republicans are racist. Why? Prove to me that the Republicans are racist other than just telling me baseless claims. So, I had friends that were Republicans. They voted for Trump. And at the time, I was like thinking to myself, how could somebody, based off what I've heard on the news, vote for someone racist like Trump? But then I ended up having conversations with them. I did my own independent research, both on left-wing news outlets and also right-wing. And I basically compared and contrasted the information based off not only Donald Trump, but also the Republican Party in itself. And when I did a lot of research, I'm like saying to myself, wait a minute, the Republican Party and all the things that Trump says, not even more so as a person of color, because I'm just taking that out of the equation, but as an American, that really applies to me and it applies to my belief system. And then when I did more research on the Democratic Party, and when I found out especially how the Democratic Party is the party of slavery. It's the party of the KKK. It's basically the party of racism. It has been for quite some time now. It kind of made me lean more towards not only planning on voting for.
Did you do your research far enough to know that Donald Trump's father was the Grand Wizard of the KKK?
Continue answering.
Yeah, we're going to do this together. I mean, you could edit.
You interrupted his answers. I want him to be genuine, but you're confusing him when you start interjecting, sir.
Go ahead. But did you know that he was Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard?
I mean, I don't know anything about that.
Well, he was, just so you know. Go ahead.
But either way, I mean, let's just play devil's advocate. You know, even if that was the case, Donald Trump isn't part of the KKK. He doesn't associate himself with the KKK. In fact, when the KKK endorsed the Trump campaign, I believe in 2016, the Trump campaign declined the endorsement. So, I mean, for people to say that, you know, Donald Trump is racist, I find that very hard to believe.
Okay, he finds it very hard to believe. But we're going to take a quick break and come back, and we'll be joined with our co-host Kareem Hamid, and we'll continue this conversation. We have a caller on, Viata, who's got a certain different point of view. We're going to take a quick break, come right back, take our caller, and hear from our co-host. And we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 727-731-5192. We'll be right back after this quick break, so stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment, so stay with us.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom.
In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you. Yes, we do want to talk to you, and we want you to talk to us. So we've got a caller. We're going to bring in Viata, and then we're going to bring in our co-host, Kareem Hamid.
Can I make one quick comment?
Yes, go right ahead.
You know, I think it's lovely that you brought in all the different nations. And what people don't understand from America is our nationwide, worldwide perspective is looked at different. When he was the president 4 years ago, and it's looked at this way as a threat to democracy and peace nationwide. People being quote unquote scared of you is not always best for you. People not believing in what you will stand for is not always a good thing. And the young man kept saying he did his research. You know, this new code word is research. What did you research?
You will now be
If
placed.
you didn't know his father was a Ku Klux Klan grand wizard, if you didn't know that the statues that they tear down are hateful statues, where did you do your research? And if you think we're running around waiting on black statues to come up for black folk, you got a whole nother world. Ain't nobody caring about no black statues. But we do care about the image of you saluting and celebrating the hatred from our past. And you can go ahead and go with your caller. Hello?
Let's see. Well, let's bring in our caller. Beata, go right ahead.
Grand Rising, can you hear me?
Yes.
On air radio network. Please state your name and you will be entered into our studio. Please keep your phone on mute until you are called on to speak. Okay. Please announce yourself. Okay, there's echo.
I'm sorry. We're trying to bring in our co-host, and I think I've lost our caller. So she'll be right back. And in the meantime, one of the things that we wanted to do is give our viewers a snapshot of the perspective of people who did support Donald Trump and had a strong opinion about it. Yes. So Beata is back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Beata, you have voiced some opinions about the new president, the returned president, that are not hostile. And as the young man said, you know, we're always told we're supposed to support the Democratic Party, and he didn't see where the Democrats had really made a strong case. What are some of your thoughts about the election? Should we be afraid? Should we be enthusiastically welcoming? Should we wait and see? What are your responses?
Well, as a baby boomer, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Martha, Nyla, after that.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we hear you well. Just keep speaking.
I know you can, but can Naima hear me?
Yes, I can. And Martha, we hear you as well. Are you connected to the AM360 switchboard?
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to say, as a baby boomer, it's very.
I'm working on it through our free conference line, but yes.
Okay. All right. We hear you all. Great. Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to say, as a baby boomer, we've seen a lot of presidents come and go, and I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm an independent. So watching Trump is very entertaining, and Trump is a very imperfect individual. He has a lot of flaws. I'm sure the brother has pointed those things out. But what's bothering me right now is I've been really prayerful about ending the war in the Middle East. It's just been so horrible to see these babies and children and the bombing and the killing and all that. So what's developed lately is Trump is really starting to show his pro-Israel side, which is really bothersome to me. But I think it's up to us to promote peace within ourselves, number one. Because, again, he is imperfect. The people he has in his cabinet are imperfect. And I think what we're going to see in the next year or two, if he survives, there's all kind of ideas that he's not going to survive. He's going to die soon or whatever. But it's up to us individually to promote the peace, the wisdom, especially as baby boomers. We have grandchildren who are watching us and our reaction and response to this whole political scene. And I just think it's important as elders that we demonstrate to our children and especially our grandchildren what it means to be sovereign individuals with a sane mind and not be reacting to all the political craziness, which is really corrupt. When we side with Israel in this whole mess, that's a problem for the world. Because most of the world, especially Africa, is totally against Israel, and what I call the Khazarian mafia. So that's the problem that we all should have at this point, in my opinion, of any president who is pro-mafia, that's Khazarian mafia or pro-Israel, that's a problem. Because the behavior that we have all witnessed all over the planet is one of such cruelty and hatred that we should all be resisting, if anything, the pro-Israel stance. That this whole damn government, the lobbyists, it appears that the pro-Israel side of Trump is coming out, which we should all be speaking against that. And all the other stuff, we need to just form our own strong communities wherever we are, build our own, grow our own food, build our own houses if we can. We don't have to be a part of this corrupt government because they are totally corrupt when they've been bombing the hell out of the Palestinians. And now Trump is saying, well, that's their war. Well, we've been contributing billions of dollars, and he's going to come out and say, well, that's their war. No, you're just showing you're pro-Israel. So that's what I think we need to be watching for, is how on the global scene, what face are they showing? Are they going to be pro-Palestinian or pro-children and women not being killed, or are they going to side with the Khazarian Zionist mafia? That's what's going on right now, today, even the second day. All the other stuff he's doing, we could take full advantage of everything he's doing as a community, as a people, and do our sovereign duty to get away from the matrix and away from this corrupt government. So that's my piece.
So there are those who feel that the economic policies of Donald Trump are possibly going to be advantageous. And so if we are able to look past personal opinions about his personality, offensive things that he has said, and as you indicated earlier, Gary, you know, some of the things that have been implied in terms of his connection to the Klan and all of that. I don't know if you can look past that, but
well, the problem is where you spend your money, where you spend your time is generally where your heart is. And if y'all think that they could be far removed from the hate and disgrace behavior pattern of his past, you would have to show me where he's been rediscovered, and I don't want to say reborn, because there's nothing about him that appears to be reborn. You know, people say it was even staged that he almost got shot. And the fact that he uses it as a stage, that God got him there. I'm starting to believe it. And would they really, You know, you're showing some of the pictures now from the weekend with our Democratic congressional members. So they're not confused with where they need to be. Yes, some of them did boycott. Some of them did not show up for the inauguration. Some of them choose to not even be in DC for the week or the weekend. They chose to stay in their districts with their people. I can't overlook that no matter which party is in power, white people win because they get the contracts, they get the jobs, they get the appointments, and they throw a couple of them at us. Look at the very congressional members. Donovan was finally brought on stage on Monday evening during the parade. You didn't see Scott, Senator Scott from Carolina, or who's the other fetching guy? You know, but the Jim Fetchums did not get appointments. I don't know if they're going to get something later, but they were not one of the secretaries. And the people he chose were total disrespect to the very black woman who just got through with her question. Where is your black son's vision? Where is your black daughter's vision if no matter what we do, and we're told to stay out of trouble, don't do this and don't do that? Trump has just squashed everything that our parents taught us to not do. The people that he's appointing have done. Theft, illegal trades, rape, sexual assaults. I mean, I don't know who, they've been accused of stuff, everything but murder. And technically, I think one of them was even wrapped up in something like that. Come on, black women. Come on, black men. We've been taught to be decent, respectful. Don't lie, but you know, most of y'all lie anyway. Don't get me started on that. So they win on that one because our community is full of lies. We're less than 35% of marriage couples now. We're less, listen to me good, we're less than 40% of community relationship building. That means that's communities that have a man and a woman in the house, whether they're married or not married, that are building a community that gives cohesiveness to the future from their sons and daughters. So before we look at what he's done, you got to look at what he's supporting.
I don't think
I'm a preacher first. I'm a preacher. Wait a minute. I'm a preacher first. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all that stuff gonna be added unto you. The moral value of America is not at the stands where we can have a demoralized president leading the pack from any stand. I don't know if we get what side of God this is. And they've gone to set up their own righteousness, not according to God. And the corruptness is obvious. Well, the rudeness is obvious. The racism is obvious. The disrespect for family values is obvious.
We got a couple of we got a couple of comments here. Zelda from Higher Learning Network says, Grand Rising, Reverend Hunter, neither party has our back. Never have, never will. We must awaken and do work necessary for ourselves. No party will do for us what we must do for self. Period. And then Martha Nyla says, Assalamu alaikum, to logically be a citizen of USA means that we are of the overall government, we have an obligation to commit to changing policies for now and future leaders and form alliances with God-fearing people all. So these basically, well, of course, what Zelda's saying, which I agree with, is that we really need to take responsibility for ourselves. And Beata here is saying that we can't blame Trump for what's happening in the Black community because we are creating that environment. We are doing the damage to ourselves. And we have been for a long time as a people blaming other people for our repeated dysfunction. At some point, you have to take responsibility for changing your condition, no matter what your circumstances are. It's still each person's responsibility. So regardless of Trump's morals, immorals, whatever the case may be, each individual has to make choices that are going to empower them to either do well or not do well based on their own powers that they have as an individual. And no human being has any more power than any other human being when it comes to either I'm going to be
the problem is this, and maybe she made the statement before she heard me say, I've stated, and I paraphrase very clearly, it is us with less than 35% of families. It is us that have no moral standard. I didn't say it was Trump's fault. But what I do say is this, what we've been taught is right before us a flip reaction. We still have an obligation to make sure that that which is before us, if we can, is at least when your city council, your mayor, your governor, your state reps, your state senators, your county commissioners, your aldermen, whatever they call them, our goal cannot be to let what leadership looks like be dysfunctional. When are we to say what we're trying to be? Don't give me this dream about, we can actually go out there and create our own society and we're going to be what we need to be. We fight against the preacher and the minister. There's some people that don't respect Farrakhan. I got a high regards and respect for Farrakhan. And if you ever went to Savers Day weekend, all we see is the speech, because that's the only thing most people show. But when you see the dignity and the respect of those young women and men marching, who have been taught precision, who have been taught morals, who have been taught standards, if we really want to get honest, that's what we need to be following. Who believes in eating right, who believes in not eating bad food, who believes in a moral standard and a respect for the elders. Do they got some faults? Yes. I don't blame them for what we're doing. I don't blame them for the women running around here with more butts and humps and pumps on Facebook than they got brains in their face. Decent, respectful lawyers and doctors with butt pictures on Facebook and social media. When did we become such faddists about butts? It is the exterior of the mess going out. Why are we promoting the doo-doo holder? Somebody explain this to me. You are absolutely right. It's not their responsibility, it's ours. But for the same women that say they are 90% of the households, don't want to take the 90% credit for the disrespectful young ladies, the disrespectful young men. You raised them. You want to talk about something? He's going to take away your taxes for the tax credits if you're getting child support. I think it forces a conversation between the mama and the baby daddy. I think it forces a discussion of whether or not, that's one of the first things, they talked about even before you start signing the bills. That if you are a mother of a child and you're getting child support, you no longer can write them off on your taxes because you're already getting yours. She's been double dipping for the last 50 years. Now the father gets to write it off. and he gets that $12,000 or $15,000, whatever it is. But nobody wants to talk about that, because as long as women have men by the testicles, and we desire to be with y'all, we desire to love y'all, it ain't Democrat, Republican. It's what do we do to look at our own community and we go back to being respectful? What do we do to not call it slavery or disrespectful, to honor and respect your man? What do we do with it? I'm glad she brought it up. What do we do? What do black women do to make sure you're not that butt shower, and that your coochie imprint ain't out in the street and everybody know how fat or skinny you is?
Well,
what do we do? What do we do with the moral standard of women drinking to the point where they they falling all over the place in public? What do we do?
Just 1 second, because we got a couple of more comments, and of course, Martha Nyla says we should be working to change policies as part of this government, which means we need to have stronger policies for the restructuring and the reconnection of our families. And we've got another comment from Viata, who says, we became fascinated. We became fascinated with butts because of influencers like Beyonce, Cardi B, and Diddy. Our music and entertainers have shown us they are totally immoral. We can now try and build and create better music and entertainment. And we've got our co-host on the line, Kareem Hamid, joining us from our American Muslim 360 channel. And this has been a lively discussion. We saw we only got a few minutes left, but we saw an interview from a young man at the inauguration, a young black man who is a pro-Trump supporter. And with so much panic over what's going to happen now and are our benefits going to be cut, the question is, were we leaning too much on those benefits, and did those benefits actually help or hurt us in terms of our taking responsibility for our lives and for our families? And do we need to maybe make some changes in ourselves and not blame President Trump? What are your thoughts on that, Kareem? And thank you so much for sticking in there to join us.
Yes, my thoughts on this is, we are alarmed at Trump's character. It's doomsday. But let me say this: there is a statement that you deserve the leadership that you get.
Ooh.
Trump is only a symptom of what has happened to the American public. He was shaped and formed in this environment that reduced the human being down to individualism. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. Don't let nobody tell you who to sock it to. Now, when you sock someone, that means who you harm, who you hit. Don't be concerned about the consequences. Just do you. The morals have fell below the basement. Our moral character have fell below the basement. The separation of men and women, the challenges of raising our children in a healthy environment, this sexual revolution, just let everybody just do your thing. Our morals have failed. Trump is only a sign to us that we must return back to a moral character, some moral standards that are basic. 4 years, it sounds like a long time, but it's not. After those 4 years, then what? We have to return back to some moral personally. Check your own morals. Are they in line with what you know to be right? And share those with other people. So he is only a symptom of what has happened in the environment. We walked away from what we know to be right and basic. And he is only a symptom of that. So we need to look at ourselves. And I'm grateful to hear this brother speaking concerning the relationship between male and female. That is the glue. That is the foundation upon which we can rebuild our society. Stay off of these social media, caught up being all of that foolishness. You are not E's. You are not W's. You are a creation of the Most High, and you are a very sacred vessel. You have to the staple singers wrote a song, respect yourself. Respect.
They've done everything they could to divide the Muslim from the Christian from the believers. And what they've done is they've actually gone after the very fiber of your belief, which minimize your faith. When you have no faith, you have no belief. You are governed by that which you are not only corrupted by, but that which denigrates you. And our women used to be the governing factor of how men act. I remember growing up in the 70s, and women didn't like men who smoked. So men would hide that they smoked. Now women smoke. Now women puff pass as much as men. If a man smoked weed, in the 70s, he hid it. I don't know why we want to, and until we accept, and I know you got the kind of callers and the kind of listeners that, well, we need to take responsibility. Yeah, we're right. The responsibility of the woman is so strong. Men are strong by nature that God gives them. Women are strong by the influence that God gives. If you think I'm lying, go all the way back to the beginning. Adam didn't influence Eve. Eve influenced Adam. And if you don't take that responsibility back of influencing the generation, it's your daughters, it's your sons. It is the element that you are raising. Naima, this is the first almost full generation of children that didn't go to Sunday school, didn't go to Bible study. We worried about writing coming out of the church, right? Where did most of us, wait a minute, in the school, they don't teach them to write no more. They can't write their own name.
Well, you know, Gary, we
got taught at home with, our mothers had a pencil and that green paper. And way before you went to preschool, you knew how to draw an A, B, C through the Z's.
Yeah. Well, you know,
it is not Cardi B. It is not Cardi B. It's not Beyonce. Way before they came along. These mothers, my own sister, wouldn't let us whip our nephews and nieces.
Well, we're getting ready to go into a whole nother category. We got to do another show for that one right there.
No. See, that's the problem.
Some of the things we did were destructive, which is why we are the way we are now. And so we gotta do a part 2 on this one for sure in the future, because there's a whole lot that we did that was good, and there's a whole lot we did that was out of that slave culture that destroyed us and has us in this state of helplessness and dependency. The reason why, out of all of the people here from other nations and other cultures, we are still emotionally crippled and are still expecting someone else to save us. So we got to deal with it, and we got to take responsibility for us. So Kareem, thank you so much for joining in. One last word before we go. We actually are a little over time, but you know, Gary's just so fiery. You know how he is. You got to finish a sentence.
but wait a minute. Since this is internet, what's wrong with us going over and you just filtering in at a different time? But listen to me real good. Until we stop worrying about hurting each other's feelings, we past that. And women have got to just take the responsibility that y'all control this. But you don't want to take the responsibility until you can say you did something good.
Well, one of the things we try to do.
All these kids that y'all raised out here, y'all raised them.
Well, we did it
together. You wouldn't even let us come visit them.
We did it we did it together. And Kareem, I'm gonna make sure you get a chance to speak. We'll go a little over, that's okay. But one of the things we try to do with this show on Wednesday, specifically with Kareem and I, that's why I make sure I have a male co-host, because there needs to be a balance. We've been blaming each other too long for the dysfunction in our families, and both sides have been dysfunctional, both males and females. And if we're expecting the government to fix that problem, that's not going to happen. Not with public aid or anything else. It's going to be a mother and a father working together, co-parenting and raising those children and working together to build a community. Kareem, go right ahead with your comment.
Yes, I want to say we have been given myths. We have been lied to. They have put all of the onus on the female. Wrote it into scripture. That is a bald-faced lie. It is not the female that coerced Adam to slip. They both, jointly slipped. So we have to stop blaming females for the downfall of what we are witnessing. That is another trick of Satan.
Well, you know, and Martha Nylas, let me share with the listeners Martha Nylas' comment. She said, let's collaborate for the next 50 years. And I think that's something that men and women have got to learn how to do. We got to stop the blame game. Both of us made some errors in our judgment, our behavior, and our thinking that we have to correct. And brutalizing the next generation isn't going to fix it. You know, for people who say, well, we need to bring back spanking, we got to let that slave culture go and develop the skills to raise a child that is powerful and self-managed without using old slave break the spirit tactics that were used on us, because that's why so many of us have so many different emotional problems and cannot form a healthy relationship. So we have to relearn some skills as adults and repeat those things that worked and discard those things that didn't. And we have to know the difference. And
first of all, let me be the person of understanding. You cannot move forward without recognizing that you got the wrong path.
That's
the
true.
Same way you don't want to whip a child and you think that was wrong. I can say as a single black man, I don't know about you, Kareem. Yeah, I need to blame the black woman because I've been trying to find a wife for 10 years. And yes, I have to look at the children that I got to deal with. I got to look at her attitude. If we think that we cannot identify the problem and we are afraid of hurting somebody's damn feelings, we will never move forward. Let's tell the truth. These men and these women out here, men have become local Johns to the whole behavior of I want to shop. I want to wear designer purses. I want red bottoms. We have a society sickness with white man's goods. And the same black people won't buy from black vendors, won't buy from black stores. If we all turned around and stopped shopping with white people and bought everything we could from black people, it would change our whole neighborhood.
Well,
when you walk down the west side of Chicago, when you walk down the west side, the south side of Chicago, Detroit, LA, Atlanta, you can go to any black neighborhood and ain't no parking problem. You go to the mall, you go out there in the suburbs, All your brothers and sisters out there giving them white folk their money. So yes, I blame what we doing on each other. But I do know this. Women got more empowerment of what's happening than men. And until y'all stop trying to pussyfoot around this, we're going to have the same problem. I'm sick of it.
Well, Gary, you put out that you're looking for a wife.
Years old, and I'm not having it no more.
So
I'm not having it no more.
So Gary, as many men in your generation have expressed, they feel that women have not used their economic power in a way that is empowering to the community. And women feel that men have abused them emotionally and left them holding the responsibility for the economic empowerment of the community. And both sides, both of us are deeply wounded. And we'll be talking more about that. Our book, Slavery, the African-American Psychic Trauma, addresses so much of what has to happen in order for us to heal from this trauma that we keep passing on generation after generation after generation. And quite frankly, everybody's tired of hearing about our post-traumatic slave disorder and all of that.
Let them get tired. Let them get tired.
Because the people who are living now didn't create it.
No. You can't stop talking. You can't stop talking about what the issue is and expect you're going to address it. You got to address it in order to change it. Sometimes you got to preach something over. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. They didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. And then when it rained, oh my God. So no, hear it till you change it. Hear it till you change it. So I don't care if your feelings hurt.
So Viata says you can't blame women for the current society's problems. It's a joint problem where both men and women are wounded and not doing the work to heal. Time for healing so we can have healthier relationships. And that's truly what it's about. I mean, everybody who's been disappointed in a relationship blames the opposite sex, but everybody's responsible for their own healing. And you can't blame others who most of the time don't know anything about whatever happened. There are a whole lot of white immigrants that were not part of that, especially Eastern Europeans. They were not part of the whole transatlantic slave industry. They were not part of the overseers that brutalized people. They were not here. They recent immigrants, they know nothing about what happened. You have a lot of recent Black immigrants, a lot of African immigrants. They know some stories about some people who were taken away. They don't know what happened after we got here. So there are a lot of people that are living in America.
You're talking about two different
happened. And we African descendants of Africans who were enslaved, we're still carrying the trauma from that, and other people cannot heal that pain. They don't know what we went through. We must heal it. We must acknowledge it, and we must hold ourselves accountable for it, because we keep doing the things that recreate the trauma. We can't blame Donald Trump, because as that young man pointed out, from what he saw, the Republicans had a better policy. He didn't see how the Democrats were really helping. And a lot of ways we look at charitable things as helpful, but we need to grow up as a people and take responsibility.
It is obvious that the average person that supports Trump is not as brain free as they know they should be. It is obvious at 21 years old, he couldn't even vote 4 years ago. So I'm gonna say this in relations to, and we've seen the videos over and over and over again with white and blacks that support Trump. They just as dingy, as airhead as most could even, we can't even imagine that they're that stupid. But the bottom line is this, and I know we really switching this, and I want to kind of refocus in the closing. Donald Trump gives us an opportunity for us to come together.
Yeah, I agree.
If Kamala would have won, we would be back in the same slave ship with a covered up wound.
I agree.
And not a healing spirit.
I agree. This is going to force us to do some things we should be doing.
When all those white people, like in the state of Michigan,
personal responsibility, absolutely.
All them white people that lost now got to look at this a different way. I love it when you lose and you can learn.
Yeah. Yes.
But you got to recognize you lost.
Yes.
I don't think we get it. We don't have a cohesiveness in our Black communities because we're afraid to look at the problem. Cover it up, cover it up. We can't blame each other. No. Yes, we do. We look at each other's flaws. And I tell you, I don't like you wasting my money. I'm going to give you this and y'all take it and spit it out or either chew it the best way you can. If Black women look at a managed money person, everybody wants to dog out 50 Cent. And he said he don't spend money on women. He said because that's not what his money was raised for. And the average, I don't know about Kareem, but the average woman you meet wants you to just spend money. That means I'm not a good manager of my money. And we're training a generation to mismanage money over coochie. The commodity cannot be the coochie.
Well, if a man chooses to let himself be exploited, that is a choice he's making because of his own lack of self-esteem. And you have to always take responsibility.
It's not the lack of esteem.
Always take responsibility for your choices. Just like when a woman allows herself to be a
why you want the man to take responsibility, but you don't want the woman to take responsibility?
Everybody's responsible. You are responsible for how you allow people to treat you all the time. Even when it comes to your elected officials, you're responsible for the choice you make. And what somebody said,
let me finish my point. Please.
Or you get the leadership you deserve. I think that was the quote you get. So
yeah, I use that.
Yes, we need to take responsibility. All of us collectively.
Listen, at no junction am I saying, and quit scapegoating this. Let your pain be a healing spot and not a fighting spot. When somebody says something, why don't y'all learn to absorb it? I'm talking about what I see every day. I'm talking about what I live every day. There was a video of a man at a dinner with his girlfriend for her birthday. And all her leech friends, 12 women, wanted him to pay for their bill.
Did he do it?
And he said no.
Okay.
And they were ready to fight him.
Well,
that is not the man's responsibility. We got a society of think every man is a John. Let's be real about this. Stop treating men like they're Johns, and when they stand up to be a man, we say he's wrong. And maybe y'all don't want to realize it. But even the homosexual and sexual perversion of sexual immorality is all about the hoish behavior, wanting to be served. I was speaking to a lesbian. She gonna say, all right, they didn't make it easy for me. I said, what do you mean? She said, these women just won't. So all I gotta do is get, she said she choose and pick because the hoish women don't care where they're getting it from.
Well, you know,
they won't read about them, she back.
That's another whole show, because I think our obsession with other people's sexuality keeps us from taking care of our own personal insecurities and our own personal wounds.
I brought that in to show you
we
that
can't
to be
fix our problem for looking at what somebody else is doing in their private life.
I'll say this again.
They're the one who made it public.
Wait, hold on a second. Kareem has a statement. Go right ahead.
I'll say this again. My people suffer for a lack of knowledge. And we need to stop this silent war going on between the male and the female. We are all, talk about this, we are all in the same boat. We need to reconcile and know that we have been injured critically.
Now, I want you to hear what you said, my people. That's the biblical text, just so that everybody know. That's from the Bible. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. If you don't give the knowledge and accept it, you'll keep having the problem. You can't have it both ways. You can't not give knowledge. You can't not tell the issue. Now, what you might want to say is, let's learn it and do better. But you can't not learn it. You can't not say it. To say it don't exist because you worried about hurting somebody's feelings. Girl, bye. Hell to the no, to the 15 power, to the 99th level, to the XYZ chromosome. Hell no. No, stop being a hoe, man. Stop being a hoe, woman. Stop being irresponsible, man. Stop being irresponsible, woman.
Well, Viata has a comment here.
Don't exist.
So Viata here has a comment. She says, "We did not lose if you believe everything is in divine order. This is a time, this is a time to learn the lessons and improve everything that is now working to help us evolve and prosper in mind, body, and soul." Now, I tend to agree. I think that this is probably the best thing that will happen to us, because if Kamala Harris had won, it'd been the same thing as when Barack Obama had won. All of a sudden, we expect all the problems to disappear and this one person to wave a magic wand and make everything perfect. And we sat down and did nothing. It did the same kinds of behavior you're talking about, Gary. That didn't stop. So we still continue to self-destruct, even with a black man in office. And then we blamed him because our problems didn't go away. So we were just going to do the same thing if Kamala had won. And she says that was 12 ghetto friends that needed to go. Find better friends about your friend. Yes. But now he learned that don't be taking out women like that, because, yes, that's what he had.
And my thing is this. I think it was Brown or whatever his name is, Chris Brown or whatever he said. One of the songs say, if she cheated on him with all the money, what do I think she gonna do with me? All I'm saying, if y'all don't want to believe it, everybody ain't singing the same damn song because they heard it from the East Coast to the West Coast to the North to the South. Our society have raised hoochie mamas and hoes. Well, we have to take responsibility for that. We raised those children, whatever they are. So we got to look at that. We did this. We chose to, like Kareem saying, we got this war between male and female, couldn't keep our families together. Then that means the media end up influencing our children's attitudes. Now we're mad because we're seeing the results of our absence in giving them guidance, and we want to blame the president. Donald Trump didn't do that. He didn't do that to our sons and daughters and make them the way they are. We did that. We couldn't get along, and we left them to their own devices. The media gave them images of what they need to strive for. Now they have values that we can't recognize and we can't correct, and we're mad at the president. It's not his fault. It's not his problem. He didn't create it, and he's not going to fix it. And it's not his job to fix it. It's still our job to fix ourselves. I really agree with what you're saying at the fundamental level, Gary. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the point I said in the beginning. If we spent half the time with discipline that you don't want to have, that we do with saying, okay. When I look at Farrakhan and Savior's Day weekend, I'm convinced that there is a a positive, respectful, disciplined outcome when there's structure. When you see those young men and those young women marching, and I'm gonna go find the video from last year's Savior Day weekend in Chicago. When you see that, if y'all think it don't matter, now do Muslim women have issues? Yes, we all human, but structure is what we're missing, and everybody wants to be grown with a non-responsible grown behavior. And you can't separate, you cannot separate the problem from the problem causer. Our society gives it to us. We used to, those of us who are in our age bracket, had parents that didn't go for that, you bringing it in their house. Now we can look at it and say we understand why. Don't have that boy come over my house no more. I don't want to see you with that boy. I don't know what mama saw. I don't know what daddy saw, but that boy ended up in jail. Or that boy ended up robbing somebody. That boy ended up dead. But your mama and daddy could tell you that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking at parents now, and I can specifically say, in a relationship I had a few years ago, stop thinking this stuff is cute. The problem is mothers and some fathers let children be children too long. And then when that children behavior becomes a dysfunction and a disrespect, they wonder why. Because you should have never let it happen. It used to be a time, the minute the baby scratched up at you, you hit his hand down so he know not. If you ever watch the animal channels, and even with every animal at a certain age is disciplined for what they are doing. A lion will kill his own cub if he shows too much affection to his mama.
Well,
because he know he has to survive. No, wait, let me finish. Because he know he has to survive outside of the mama's womb.
Well, Vianna,
no, I am not saying kill, but what I'm saying is discipline does matter.
Well,
I know you don't believe in it.
Well, because I have higher skills, and that's what it is. If you have higher skills, then you know how to guide rather than inflict pain.
So you telling me all those kids on the south side of Chicago, whose mamas had higher skills, whose sons are now robbing everybody, and you can't go to a gas station on the south side.
Skills. You can't go to a grocery store on the south side. If you have higher skills, those skills work. If you don't have skills, they don't work. That's it. So whatever you use, it didn't work. You didn't have the skills. If you had the skills, they would have worked. Now, Beata says, my grandchildren don't get spankings. I have to be creative in the discipline area. I've learned the most important for raising all children is to be present and give them attention, not beatings. Amen. That is it. We want to have jobs all day long, not be home, and then come home and beat the children because they didn't do the work in the house and all that sort of thing. But if we could have had a family structure where an adult was present to supervise and train and guide them, then we wouldn't be beating them in our frustration because they couldn't raise themselves.
I'm really blow your mind. I'm going to really blow your mind. I used to teach when I would give marriage counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't y'all spend this $20,000 on buying a house instead of a dress?
That is
80% of the girls wanted that dress. 80% of the girls wanted that dress. It is no secret that the discipline of our buying, let me finish. The discipline of our buying behavior is connected to our dysfunction behavior.
I agree. I
If
totally
you,
agree.
if you change your habits, your behaviors, and your desires, it'll change your life.
I agree.
I am
Well,
where I am today because I don't have habits that withdraw from my bank account. I don't have behaviors that withdraw from my bank account. And I don't have desires that withdraw from my bank account.
Well, Gary,
My house.
before we go, give the audience. Before we go, give the audience
You want to
your
read that last
website.
comment?
That was this was one that she said earlier. You can't blame women for the current society problem. It's a joint problem where both men and women are wounded and not doing the work to heal. Time for healing so we can have healthier relationships. And I think ultimately that is the answer, because all of us need to look at ourselves and take responsibility for ourselves. And what are we contributing to this society? What are we contributing in our households? What are we contributing to the next generation? And what was that, Kareem?
But Brother Kareem said it best. My people perish for the lack of knowledge, based upon the biblical text.
So
and
let
I know
us
some people want to. Let me. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. Knowledge sometimes is not as easy swallowed as ice cream. Ice cream goes down and you can even get a brain freeze, but you enjoying the sweetness while you suffering. You got to understand that knowledge comes from information. It did not say you're going to like the information, but it's knowledge. And I don't care if y'all don't like being blamed. You're the one that take the credit for raising all these kids. So take the blame for the results.
So Gary, on that note, give us your website so we can share that with our audience, and they can go and keep up with the Shot News. How do they reach you?
TheShotNewsLive.com. TheShotNewsLive.com. We are revamping it now, but it should be up by the end of the week or next week. But you also can go to Gary Hunter on Facebook, where I just about post everything. My Instagram is Photos by Gary Hunter, or either Photos by Pastor Gary Hunter. I forgot which one it is. But if you go to my Facebook, it'll, I think, link you to all of them. And the Shot News can be picked up at most churches on the south and the west side of Chicago, all over Detroit, all over DC, all over Atlanta, in other states, different drop-off points in Chattanooga. Oh God, I forgot the name of the place. In Louisville, Kentucky, Gospel in My Soul radio station, and a lot of the black churches. And you can always call us at 313-442-6111. We will be coming out this year with a magazine. So we will be doing national advertising for you to get a subscription. And if you like to get the news, I travel all over this country to make sure that we're informed about us. Part of the knowledge is even knowing that other folk are doing great things, and we can believe we can do great things too. I'm tired of going to cities and going to meetings. We the only one doing it. No, you ain't the only one doing it. God is blessing folk to do the same thing you're doing in a different corner. Maybe a different way, may not be acknowledged. But I think our biggest thing is making sure that we know that somebody is being encouraged by what we're doing. So keep doing it, keep living it, keep believing it. And if you can't believe nothing else, believe you done made some damn mistakes too. Stop being afraid of recognizing your faults. You cannot be better if you don't realize you had some worse days. So with that being said, be empowered from the inside of your spirit and stop letting the outside forces determine that you have a great spirit or not. You are great from within. Let it shine from without. And God's authority will give you what you need. And faith comes from your belief. Be real careful with what you hear, what you see, and what you learn to believe. Because what you believe is what you'll eventually receive. And what you receive is what you'll become. So become great, look for great, hear great, see great, and watch. The atmosphere is conducive to the behavior. So stop thinking you can be in a bad atmosphere and get a great result. Find a cleaner company.
All right. Well, thank you, Gary Hunter. You can find him on Facebook, and his website is theshotnewslive.com. You have been listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host, Kareem Hamid. Thank you so much for hanging in there. And as you know, we are transitioning from Blog Talk Radio, and we are now on the On Air Radio Network, and our number is 727-731-5192 connects us directly to you. So we want you to listen in and call in every day of the week, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. We try to keep it an hour, but as Gary says, it's internet, so we really have the freedom to go a little over. But we are going to, of course, have our guests on for at least an hour to give you information and inspiration, and we want you to interact with them and us. You can always leave your comments on our Facebook or YouTube channels, and you can go to the On Air Radio Network at www.onaireverywhere.com/on-air-radio-network, or call in and connect with us by phone 727-731-5192. And we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for Veggie Brunch Live with Angela. And thank you so much, Kareem, for being.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, and I think we got to call her. I know she's trying to get in, but I think her phone is. You still got a bunch of static from your phone, Martha. Sorry, I can't hear you. Yes, go right ahead.
Let me say this one more thing. If you don't learn to eat better, trust me when I tell you, you won't feel better, which means you won't think better.
I agree to that as well.
Get your behavior patterns of eating back to natural eating, vegetables, food that is produced from real and not fake. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to get into what's real and what's fake, but I'm telling y'all, if you
we do it every week here. Of course, we've got some great informational shows, and our hosts are teaching every day. You need to join us. And like Viata said, there's nothing stopping us from growing our own food. Can't blame the president for that either. If you don't make use of your backyard to feed yourself, that's on you. And Kareem, one last comment before we wrap it up and let our people go. Go right ahead, Kareem.
Yes, it all begins with to know thyself.
Absolutely. Know thyself.
Yourself. To know yourself is to know God. And it's a shame to live a whole life and you've never been introduced to your true self. We are living in an artificial construct, but there is an essence, there is a reality. I would advise everyone, look inside of yourself. Personal responsibility. We can hold shows like this, we can have big old forums, and we can state what needs to be done. But it narrows down to personal commitment.
Yes, it does.
Personal commitment. And if you never hear anything else, remember this. God is not a human being. He creates human beings. I'll stop right there. Thank you, my sister.
Well, thank you so much, my brother. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. And Viata says, thanks, Gary. Pass the wisdom on daily. All righty.
Well, I do my best. When they like it, when they don't like it, when they love it, and they don't love it. The key is to keep spreading the truth. And I know it's hard for y'all, but we got to stop being the demon help, and we got to start becoming the light. That's all I want to say.
That's it. Be the light. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you for joining us and sharing your wisdom and your experience at the inauguration of the new president. Well, get ready, people. It's a new day coming, and we could make it a better one. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all tomorrow on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif. See you again.
Participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.